What we'll cover today, first of all, I need to introduce the ISBSG Development and Enhancement Repository because that's the data we've used for the presentation. We've analysed that data, so we'll spend a few minutes looking at that repository, and then we'll talk. The core of the presentation is the result of the second analysis that we've done on tools and techniques excuse me, that have been used on the projects that are in the ISBSG repository, and then the impact that these tools and techniques appear to have had on the projects themselves, and we'll have a look at what works and what doesn't. And I called the presentation the Silver Bullet because if you go back about 20 odd years, you'll find a very well-known paper by Fred Brooks called No Silver Bullet, The Essence and Accidents of Software Engineering. And it just seemed quite ironic that you go back that far and you still find somebody saying exactly the same thing, and yet we still keep looking for silver bullets. So let's move from there. Sorry, we moved ahead a little quickly. Michael, can I go back several slides? You showed a slide earlier in the piece that I want to look at. We'll have a look at that. Here it is. This is just a quick rundown on the products and services of the ISBSG. Basically, all our products and services revolve around the data that we've collected over the 15 years that we've been in existence. And the primary product that we have is our data. You can actually get your hands on our data and you can use it for your own purposes, which is very rare. I don't think there are other open repositories available, particularly for a reasonable amount of money. And then from there we use that data and we produce other products that people can use. And the most popular of these is the estimation book, even though we're called the International Software Benchmarking Standards Group. It appears that estimation is what a lot of people are interested in. And then we provide corporate subscriptions, and we have a whole series of special reports that are available on the website. So we've got the advertisement over, we can now move ahead. Just excuse me while I go back to where we were. Okay, so what we're trying to achieve today is to understand what impact the various types of tools and techniques have on software projects in the development and an enhancement environment. I had to explain what a silver bullet was when I gave this talk in China, and that was interesting in itself doing the research. For those of you that are not aware, it's all to do with the famous cowboy from years ago, the Lone Ranger. The silver bullet was his ammunition, and we keep looking for more of these. So what were the silver bullets of the past? Who were the past pretenders? I guess case tools, 4GL languages, object-oriented, rapid application planning, perhaps nowadays agile. We're always looking for something that's going to be several times more productive than we are currently. And to date, we don't seem to have found the actual silver bullet. So we seem to be looking for speed, or are we looking for incremental delivery or quality, for example, with Agile? Let's have a look at the repository itself so you know where the data has come from. In our development and enhancement repository, we have history data on over 5,000 completed projects. Not all the projects contain data about tools and techniques, unfortunately. We'd love everybody to give us all the data that we're looking for, but that doesn't happen. So a subset of the data has been extracted for this presentation, which is the projects that have told us about the tools and techniques that they use. From a customer point of view, you can get a subset of the repository which can be licensed to you, which we deliver on a CD or in an Excel spreadsheet. So you can actually look at this data yourself. One note of caution. The data may be best practice, or at least the top end of the industry. We think perhaps the top 20 So it is biased data. The fact that people, organizations have given us this data voluntarily means that they're at a certain level of maturity themselves to even think about metrics and about sending data to us. So the data itself will probably reflect the better projects in the industry. We rely on a questionnaire, and people complete the questionnaire, so we only get the data that people choose to send us. Unfortunately, we can't go and interview people and collect data. And the data is completely open, so you can look at it and you can decide its value and whether it's fit for your purpose. So it's not a black box. We don't do black box benchmarking. Primarily, the data has been sized in functional sizing using function points from primarily ISBSG, but other organizations have similar functional sizing approaches. That doesn't mean to say that what I'm talking about today needs you to understand function points. The ratios themselves are just as important. We also allow the entry of use case points, story points, lines of code, but it's too difficult for us to benchmark and do analysis on those things. The projects that we look at have what we call a data quality rating of A or B. So we actually rate every piece of data that we get to ensure that we believe the data is sound. So even though we carry projects that we've rated C or D for various reasons, there wasn't enough data or there was some question marks over it, we don't include them in this analysis. So we might start out with 5,050 projects, but for the purpose of this analysis, we end up with 3,000, for example. So let's have a look at some definitions. You know who the ISBSG is now. You know that functional FXM, when I refer to that, is functional size measurements. And what I'm talking today about is function points when I talk about size. Don't get hung up on that. Just look at the ratios, for example. I will use this term PDR, which is the project delivery rate. Some people don't like this because it's kind of the wrong way around. It is a unit that we express in the number of hours it takes to deliver a function point. Imagine in a building environment, this would be the number of hours it takes to deliver a square meter or a square foot of building. That's about the best analogy we can come up with. Another note is that I'm talking today, the figures that I will show you are for the development team only. This is what we call in the ISBSG level 1. We collect data at 4 levels, but level 1 is what I'm talking about, and that is the team that builds the software. So it builds, tests, implements the software. It comprises the project team, project management, administration, and others that are full-time on the team. It does not include the support personnel, DB, data administration, people that come and go. So that gives you a feel for what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the development team here. And I'll also talk about speed of delivery, which is the number of function points delivered by a person in a month. So those are the factors that we'll cover. Okay, there's a bit of delay on slide movement. Here we go. So let's first think about the techniques that people might use in developing or enhancing software. Obviously, there's use of methodologies. People use standards, CMMI, ISO, prototyping, rapid application development,